Together we are but first coffee. Susie's just our host, but what matters most is we are a team. Together we are all safe here, and so are you. Among friends and mods we are safe. We talk about trauma, break down drama of life, death, happy or sad, even mad. We discuss it all here. Together we will thrive, not just survive. We will dry each other's tears, celebrate big or small wins, and chase away the fears. Together we fight cults or fight addictions. If not with experience, with love, and we don't judge. Please understand, this is a safe place to land. Please understand, you're not alone. This is a safe place to land. Together we thrive, not just survive. We will dry each other's tears, celebrate big or small wins, and chase away the fears. Because we are but first coffee, and Susie welcomes us all here. Together we are but first coffee, and Susie.
Hey, everybody. Good to see you. God, does my voice sound hick today? What the heck? I I think what happens is whenever I'm alone, like I'm alone all day and I don't talk to anybody, and so I don't say anything, and I don't get, my voice doesn't get to where I'm thinking, oh God, that sounded hick, and I start trying to change it. So, like, if Mark's here and he makes fun of me all the time when things come out, especially hick or southern. I just think hick. I don't know. But anyway, what a mess. That's just me. Y'all, I got to tell you something that I did. I told my mods yesterday. Okay, so, I'm still sitting here in my living room. I did get the tree down, and most of the Christmas decorations are down. All my nutcrackers are still over there because I love them and I don't want to take them down yet. And they're all pink and cute. But anyway, it's going to be a while because I am completely going to reinvent the studio slash office because Mark is only working 3 days a week now, and none of those are from home, unless just like an odd thing happens and he works from home. So, anyway, he usually takes up this huge space in the office, and he's a pack rat. He keeps every piece of paper and every this and every that, and it's all in there. So I'm going through things and I'm having to get rid of things like that. And plus, I've got all the stuff that's in there because I've told y'all before that I do this little like a side gig where I sell things, like I buy sell things, buy them cheap or clean out my, closets or whatever, storage buildings, whatever it is. And then I sell it on this online auction. And I've been making, pretty good money on it, usually around three or $400 a week, which is not chump change. I call it my side gig, but it pays way more than this does. I mean, I'm lucky if I get, I rarely even get $200 a month off of this anymore. I just, and I don't care. It's not, I don't care. But anyway, yeah. So which is the actual job and which is the actual side gig, right? So anyway, it's going to be a while because I got to do all that. I ordered wallpaper, paint, the whole bit, and it's going to be so pretty. I will tell you that the wallpaper I ordered is a really dark, like navy black, look to it, and it has like sparkly stuff in it, like glittery looks to it. And now I've kind of figured out that it would probably just be easier to buy that glitter that you can pour in your paint and just paint the damn thing, and I might. I don't know. I'm nervous. I'm trying to kinda I might what I might do is paint the do that with the walls that I plan to just paint and see how it works out, and if it's not the look I want, then go ahead and wallpaper. But anyway, so the other day, Mark said I asked him, I said, "How much paint do you think I'm gonna need for that room?" And he says, "Well, just with what you're gonna paint, probably just a gallon." I said, "Okay," because I am supposedly wallpapering some of it. So it's like, okay. So I ordered this paint and I waited on it. Now I thought that I got it pretty cheap, but I probably ordered it at 2 o'clock in the morning when I'm supposed to be asleep. And so it didn't really click that much. But anyway, so it came in yesterday. I could not quit laughing all evening over this. I'm going to show you this paint. Are you ready? Yeah. It is 8 ounces. 8 ounces. So in the chat, when Ben says that he doesn't know what I'm gonna do, yeah, with all of that paint, if I'm gonna paint, 9 or 10 layers, yeah, this. Now it is gonna be this really pretty dark navy color, but I also noticed that this is a gloss and the other one is a flat because I don't want there to be a glare. So yeah, it's gonna be I have reordered and I ordered an actual gallon and I ordered the actual flat. So this was just a complete mess up. I don't even know. But you never know. I might find something that I need to paint with this pretty navy glossy paint. You just never know. Yeah, I could do that. I could swatch it. You're right, Indigo. I could swatch it on the wall to see how that color's gonna do. I'm wanting it to be kinda dark. Um, Now the ceiling I'm gonna leave white, and I'm gonna leave the trim white and the door white and all that. But, yeah, I do want it to be kinda dark because, with all the lights, that's gonna brighten it up in there. But I've bought curtains, I've bought everything. My curtains say, "But first coffee." Not even gonna lie, they say, "But first coffee." And I can't remember if I got them on Temu or Amazon, but I was just like, "Hey, they say, 'But first coffee,' I'm buying them." Yeah, I could, paint a picture frame, absolutely. That's a great idea. Yeah, another thing is I'm putting up so many I've got all these cute pictures and stuff that I wanna put up, and then I started is I mean, it's gonna be like a whole wall, like a statement wall of all these pictures of stuff that I like. It's gonna be Susie, and then that one little wall over there is gonna be all Mark stuff, but the other 3 walls are gonna be me. Because I mean, hello, I have to be in there every day. He'll be in there if he wants to watch something on TV that I'm watching something else, or I don't know what he's doing, or getting our taxes ready, or the checkbook or something. But it's not gonna be in there, you know, 12 hours a day, 2 or 3 days a week like he was. So, yeah, but anyway, so I was gonna buy all these frames for these pictures that I've bought because on Temu, I found all of these pictures and I'm like, "Oh my god, I have to have this, right? I have to have this, I have to." Well, when they get here, they're just the the canvas, painting or whatever of the picture, or print. It's not there's no frame, there's no nothing. So I went about all this trying to figure out how am I gonna do this, I gotta get all these frames. So I added up what all I've got. They're not all here yet, but I went on and I counted up everything and the sizes. And I went and I looked at Walmart, Amazon, and even Hobby Lobby, which I hate shopping there, but that's all we've got, y'all. But anyway, Lord, it was gonna be hundreds of dollars for frames. So what I'm doing now, y'all, because I don't know if y'all have noticed, but I like sparkly things. So I have bought like all this like sparkly tape, like it's got glitter or whatever, or rhinestoney looking stuff on it. And it's what I use to bling up my walker that I still haven't had to use since I got it and blinged it up, but I will. The next time we fly, it's going with me. But but anyway, I'm gonna actually make frames out of like cardboard and put that tape around them to make them real pretty, and then use like those things that you can stick things up with on the wall that don't tear up your wall so that I don't have to put holes all over the wall. And if I decide, well, I'm tired of that picture, I can take it down and put something else and everything will be framed with sparkly stuff. So, yeah, Susie's paint. Anyway, so how's everybody doing? Yeah. Yeah, Indigo says, "What? I had no idea that you liked sparkly things. Y'all have no idea." I talk about it, but one of these days, I'm gonna have to do a home tour where you can actually look around and see my pink kitchen and my pink sparkly dining room, my bedroom that's all mermaids and you know witchy mermaids, and I don't know. I'm terrible. I mean, everything's pink and sparkly. It is a good thing that Mark is very secure in his manhood because my dad's like, "Why did you buy that pink rug?" And I said, "For my dining room," which would be the same dining room that a pink flowery, like flower embellished bra hangs in because somebody made it for me and sent it to me. So, anyway, well, I'm going to check in with the chat and then we're going to get started. This is one of those days when we're just going to talk about, I have a subject, but it's not like a serious, you know, discussion. It's just a little something I just been thinking about and I wanted to chat about it a little bit. So we're going to do that. So before I forget, thank you so much, Jan, for being in the back office. You are so helpful when you're back there. I love it. I appreciate it, and I often forget to tell you. So thank you very much. So Julia, thank you so much for being here. Absolutely, Ben. Oh gosh. Yes, Ben answered the question on the thumbnail. Why do we care so much if people like us? And he says, we care because it's encoded into us ancestral memories as isolation and expulsion from the tribe meant certain death for our ancestors. Today, that isn't the case, obviously, but it can be overruled. Yeah, it absolutely yeah, but he says, but it's hard. Yeah. Um, he's absolutely right. That is why. And I was just glad that somebody, like, I was glad that it made sense so that somebody could figure out what I was talking about. So, anyway, let's see here. Aw, Julia says, I like talking about literally anything and nothing at all because that's what I said. We're going to kind of talk about nothing in a way, right? Oh, yeah, Julia, that's the paint. This is what we were laughing about was the size of the paint. The color is just a really dark navy. Just the one that I bought now. Well, crap, I just forgot the name of it. I'll think of it again though. It'll come to me. It'll circle around and colonial. That's what it is. It's colonial navy blue. So, anyway, let's see here. Marilee is here. Good to see you. Absolutely. Incarnasol. Yeah, I love when Incarnasol's here too. He's so kind and wise, and it just Heat My Shorts is here. Good. Is it Hanny and me? Hanny, Hanny and me. Oh yeah, from Australia. Will you quit? Will you quit? My bulldog is laying her head on me, and she's pushing down with her big old chin trying to get my attention because Mags is laying in the that's what I was trying to do. Quit that. Mags is laying in the bed that she wanted to lay in, so she's trying to tattle. So yeah, I am. I'm changing the office. When I did it before, I just threw it up really fast and it worked and it did great and it was in this little, corner. I mean, tiny little corner. Well, now, I'm taking over. He says, "How come you get the office or three-quarters of it, but you also get your art studio?" Because across the hall from the YouTube studio is my art studio where I do all supposed to do all my painting. So, yeah. Yeah, that is a good idea to sand it before I paint it or wallpaper it. Cause yeah, it's not a smooth surface. It's kind of a textured, wall. So, yeah, that paint, yeah, it's yep, just a sample. Uh, yeah, a gallon is $64. I know it. Yeah, even smaller than you thought, Ben. Yeah. Yeah, it is a decent sample. It is. Definitely gonna need more than that. Yeah. Yeah, it's not even pint size, it's tiny. Okay, let's see here. Oh gosh. Peter Paint see, I can't even get the first 2 words. Peter Painter picked a pint of pink paint. I used to have a speech impediment when I was a kid and I had to do all those kind of things. But I did the whole, she sells seashells down by the seashore. My real problem was with S's, which was really bad because of my name. So, Indigo, always glad to see you. Let's see. Yeah, Michael's is very expensive for picture frames. Yeah, so is Hobby Lobby, but I thought, well, maybe I can look and see. Maybe I'll, luck onto something, but no, it was expensive. I mean, I'm telling you, it was gonna be a few $100s just for the frames. And I was like, I bought these like pictures for like a couple bucks a piece. I don't want to spend, you know, I mean, and they're not large. They're like, I don't know, 12 by 16 or something. The pictures are not large. They're just an odd size, I guess. If they were just like 8 by 10s, I could probably, find some at the Dollar Tree or something. Yeah, hype if you're on a mobile. I did too. Can you hype this channel? I didn't even know if you could. I'm like, am I part of that? Hmm. I missed somebody and I know it. I saw it and then it was gone. Hold on, back up just a tiny bit. Well, that's not gonna let me back up. Just we'll go this way. Smurfman 80. You prefer isolation? Sometimes I do. Oh, it's Haney and me. Okay. Okay. Good. I like it. Okay, Julia O'Connell says we care because we are beautiful human beings. We all have different thoughts and feelings, and yes, sometimes we can be emotional regardless of our differences. Yeah. Indigo says I watch so many home reno channels. I do too. Too many. Susie sells seashells by the seashore. Yeah. Red red leather. Oh boy, red leather, yellow leather. Say it fast over and no, thank you. Not online. I'm not because it'll come out something crazy. Oh yeah, teal. Yeah, my this wall over here, it's kind of dark. You can't really tell on here. But it's a really pretty teal color and I'm gonna repaint it. I've got the paint to do it too. And I actually got yeah, the same color that it is now and an actual gallon. Because it's a big wall, and I'm thinking about doing the one that's behind me too. So when we built the house, we just did this wall, and the rest of them are kind of a tan color. But now I'm getting a little bit braver with colors. I'm wanting to add some, and yeah, yeah, get one and put multiples in it. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I'm gonna figure out something. Luckily, it doesn't have to be fancy because it's just gonna be the office, but I really wanna do it to where it doesn't mess up the walls because I tend to be fickle and I tend to like stuff and then I get tired of it and then I wanna change it. And so if I'm like nailing nails or screws or something into wall, the wall all over the place, then I'm gonna have to fix those and put. So I figure if I do those little command strip things that hold them up there, then and that's gonna be a much better option for me probably. So, anyway, let's get started, and y'all, I'm sure my dogs are gonna bark any time now, so try not to let it terrify you because Mark's not home yet, but he should be home anytime, and when he comes in, they go nuts. So, anyway, excuse me. So y'all grab your coffee or your tea or whatever your preferred beverage is. And I just wanna take some time and just chat with y'all, and I want you all to warm up your little fingers and chat back in the chat or in the comment section if you're on the replay. And, yeah, I just want this to be kind of a light conversation about why we want people to like us, and I don't plan on it being anything political or anything that I'm gonna cry about. I have cried enough the last week, but you know me, I get a little emotional, so somebody might say the most innocent thing, and it just might hit my heart a certain way, and I might cry, you just never know. But I don't plan on it. So, anyway, I was thinking about something, and I really I think that if we're all, like, brutally honest with ourselves, that probably the vast majority of us struggle with this on some level. Maybe not as bad as others, but I bet that we all do on some level. And even though we swear we don't, and that is, why do we care so much if people like us? Why? What does it matter to the grand scheme of things, right? And so I do have my notes because I want to keep on my brain braining. So I want y'all to tell me in the chat, but be honest. Be honest. Do you care what people, especially like we're not necessarily talking about your true, real life inner circle, your family, that kind of people. I'm talking about, people that just kind of know you, like, know of you or you're acquainted with, or people online. Do you care if they like you? And I was thinking about it because, the first thing I say is, I don't care. I don't care if they like me. I don't care. But you know what? I care. Not everybody. There's some people out there that I wouldn't give two shits if they care about me or not. I just really don't. But when it's somebody that I like or that I respect for whatever reason or look up to or, whatever the thing may be, it kind of does sting if they don't like you, and especially if it's because they have, false information or false assumptions. Somebody's told them something about you that's not true, or maybe they caught you on a bad day and, you kind of acted like a little bit of a bitch, and, and now they're like, no thanks. So I want us to think about, do we care? So, hey, Dusty, good to see you. You care if I like you? Well, it's a good thing because I do. I love you to pieces. I truly do. He says, yeah, I do care if people like me. I feel like if I stopped caring, I wouldn't be as nice of a person. I'd be more selfish, I suppose. That's a good thought. I kind of thought about that a little bit too. I really did. And y'all, I've been talking to my therapist, and I promise I'm not gonna turn this into that I go to Susie goes to therapy and then she takes, 2 hours to tell you everything that that was said in therapy that I learned or need to learn or whatever. I'm not gonna be that person. But the reason that it came up in therapy was because I was already wondering about it and thinking about it to come to you all and talk to you about. So, I brought it up in therapy and I don't know. And what I was kind of learning through my therapist was that I don't care about why people, or I don't care about if people like me because I'm insecure. See, I always thought that I was insecure and that that's why I cared if people liked me or not, and I would be like, why are you so insecure? Why does it matter to you? I've had other people say to me, people that care about me. I'm not talking about people trying to be mean. They'll be like, what in you, what is in there that's so insecure that you give a rat's ass if this person that you don't even know likes you? But what I was kind of learning is that it's not an insecurity thing. It's because at our core, that's us. That's what humans do at their core. It's hardwired into us. My therapist said, you know how like dogs or cats, people quote unquote say, well, they're doing this because, it's their instinct from back when they were wolves or they were, you know, lions or whatever they were. Right. So, you know, I don't know how they know that that's an instinct, but it makes sense. So I'm going to go with it. But yeah, it is hardwired in us to be that way because back before Jesus was even a baby, y'all, we survived. Our actual survival was dependent on being part of a tribe, being liked, being appreciated. All of that equaled security. It equaled food and shelter and life. And if we were exiled, meaning many, many, many ancestors ago, but if we were exiled from this tribe, it was basically a death sentence, and that's what, Ben was saying too in which made me very happy that somebody else figured out where I was going. So, the thing is that our brains are still wired that way. So when someone in a group that you're in or a community or virtual tribe unfriends us on Facebook or unfollows us on YouTube or ghosts you or leaves a mean comment, whatever the thing may be, whatever your situation might be, whatever it is, our bodies still react like we are the last person that was just voted off of the island on Survivor 47. We feel alone. We feel in danger. Now, not literal, it's not like, oh, I'm all alone. I'm in danger. Somebody's going to kill me because, Sally over here, she unfriended me. I don't mean it like that. But I mean, it's like a gut reaction. It's a gut reaction. And that happens. We'll feel that way even if we're sitting on our couch in our pajamas or whatever with fuzzy socks on and a glass of wine or a cup of hot chocolate or whatever the thing may be. So I wondered if any of you all, yeah, all by myself, you can kind of feel that. Absolutely. Yeah, if you're kicked out of the tribe, you no longer have resources. Yeah, or a mate. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I think that that's how that all of our ancestors lived long enough to reproduce is by staying in those tribes. Because without them, can you imagine back in the days of the dinosaurs and stuff? and they boot your ass out of the out of the cave, and you're, like, trying to, dodge the dinosaurs and God only knows what else. Yeah. Yeah. John's here and he's singing. Oh, goodness. So, yeah, have any of y'all ever had, a comment or like an online rumor or something that was said about you or to you or whatever, and that it hit harder than what you think it ought to have hit, or the the sting lasted, oh, my nose is itching, a little longer than it should have? Because I have. I'm bad about that, and and it's one of those things that, up in my head, I know I should not care. I should not care this much. But if I'm honest, yeah, you had a lot. Yeah, I bet. Recently, some, huh, Dusty? Ridiculous. But anyway, for me, it is things like when Jamie Thomas, ugh, when she talked about me and she was like telling everybody that I had like a string of unpaid bills and bounce checks, following me around a mile long, all these things. And I knew it wasn't true. It honestly couldn't be farther from the truth. Or when another creator, said that people were talking about me and that I was considered a problem and that I was stealing content and all of this stuff. It hurt in a very primal gut way. I felt completely isolated. I felt alone. I felt with that one especially, I felt very, booted from the tribe. I was very Survivor 47, "You're out of here. You got to leave." You don't have to go home, but you can't stay here kind of a deal. And that's how I felt, and I've been hanging on to a lot of that, for good lord, I mean, months, months and months. And it's ridiculous, and so I asked my therapist, I said, "Why do I do that?" And she said, "It's a gut instinct." It's how we work. It's how our bodies do. It's our nervous system is hardwired to react that way. It's not weird. Yes, we can work to work past it or to, make it where it's not so debilitating. But we need to stop like thinking that we are somehow damaged because things hurt, because things, sting. So anyway, yeah, and especially I think especially when we know. Like, I knew that Jamie was full of shit and, I had people, all the time saying, "We know it's not true," or they would say and they would be the most well-meaning, I swear, but they would be like, "Even if you do, we don't care. What has that got to do with anything? We just like your content and blah, blah, blah." And I'm sitting there thinking, yeah, but saying, "Even if you do, we don't care," means you might believe that I do. And so I'm just, having people even potentially think those kind of things about me is just, I don't know. I let it get to me, and I shouldn't, but I'm working on it, y'all. I'm working on it. So, anyway, so yeah, especially if it's flat out lies or, oh man, or if people mock my Christianity or my cancer survival. I mean, I have had people, like if she even really has cancer, and I'm like, "Oh yeah, I plucked my eyebrows and eyelashes one at a time and shaved my head just so that you could say, 'Oh, I'm sorry that you're going through that.'" I mean, it makes sense, right? Just, shit don't even make sense. But anyway, I just wanted y'all to know that that's not weakness. Hey, Never In Aaron, good to see you. I care about being liked by the younger generation because it would be nice if some version of me would still be alive, even when I'm not in the room anymore. I actually, that makes sense. I want to be. on some levels, I always wanted to be now, I did not I wanted to be the fun mom, not at the risk of not being the mom. I was always the mom, but I was also always the mom that the kids didn't mind if I was around so much, mainly because I mean, I was there, but I wasn't sitting on the end of their bed listening to them, gossip and giggle and talk. But, you know, they respected me as a mom, but they also thought that I was funny because I used to be a lot of fun, y'all. I was always doing some crazy something, like when I broke my foot because I was hanging off of the pool ladder on the inside of the ladder in the 12 foot, and I was singing the Slim Shady song and wiggling my butt in my daughter's face, and I slipped off the ladder and broke my foot. But, I mean, at least it was a good story and at least it was funny, so, you know. But anyway, um, social media does seem like it makes things a lot worse. There's just so many people that have so many opinions, right? I mean, like, I was thinking about it, and in real life, there's like 10, maybe 20 people that I really care what their opinion of me is. It gets less and less all the time. It's mainly like my kids, and my dad, people like that. But yeah, the real life people. But suddenly, whenever you're online, especially as a creator, but also just in the chat and stuff, because you're chatting and you're giving up a little bit of yourself when you're doing that. You're putting yourself out there. And so same thing with, you know, Facebook and stuff. We put ourselves out there. But suddenly there are hundreds or even thousands of people that all of a sudden have an opinion about you, and not all of them are nice. I kind of had a little bit of a head start with the not so nice opinions about me when I had the newspaper, because I had like 2,000 subscribers. We were a small paper, but anyway, we had about 2,000 subscribers, and they say statistically that for every subscriber, every newspaper that you send to a subscriber, that an average of 3 people read it. And then I had more newspapers that got sold in the stores and stuff every week than what was subscribers. And so, by the time you add it all up and you know, figure statistics into it and everything, it was easily, 15, 20,000 people that actually read stuff that I wrote, and, not just the news, but my opinions, because I did do an editorial every single week. And they were all forming opinions of me, and it's a lot of people, so I kinda got used to it, and I joke that as long as y'all don't, like, put a damn sign out across from my house shaped like a casket or like a coffin that says, "Rest in peace, Susie Oberholtz," then I'm probably not gonna be all that bothered by you not liking me, because that literally did happen to me, and, yeah, not fun, but kind of got me a little bit ready for this whole gig that I got going here. So, back in the day, I one week I could walk into a Mexican restaurant there. There was a little Mexican restaurant, and I love my cheese enchiladas. But anyway, so there was this little Mexican restaurant there in the town that my office was in, and I would go there every week. The day that we delivered the newspaper, when we were done, we would go in, we'd meet there, and we would, have Mexican food. And about, I don't know, every other week, somebody would always buy my lunch. Sometimes they'd buy the whole table's lunch, but depending on what I wrote, somebody would often buy my lunch or send dessert over, or whatever. And then every other week, I would walk in and it would just get silent, like crickets. You could hear crickets, right? And a lot of side eyes because I had pissed the world off. So, yeah, I kinda got used to it, but this feels so different because I'm actually talking to you all. So, yeah, when I'm talking to you and you're talking back to me in real time, it makes it a little harder. And so I'm wondering, is it that way for the rest of you, or is it just, Susie being neurotic? So yeah, because I mean, it was kind of the same thing with the newspaper, but people are way more mean behind screens. Because if some of the people would walk up to me and say some of the stuff that they say on, behind their screens, they might get punched in the throat. But on here, I'm not going to drive across country. Like some people want to fly across country to attend a 10-minute, court hearing or something, and just so that they can show somebody how much they dislike them. At least nobody's doing that a whole lot with me right now. So, anyway, so how about this? This is another thing I wondered. Do any of you all have a problem with that? You can have 10 comments that's completely um positive. You can have 10 people that just absolutely love you and think that you're great. And then you can have that one person or that one comment that's, rude or mean or, whatever the deal is. And I know with me, as soon as I get that one negative comment, I can't even hear the 10 good ones anymore. I have to actually force myself to go back and read or listen to or whatever the thing is, those 10 good ones or 100 good ones, because that one rude person didn't like me. Didn't like something I said or that they heard I said. A lot of times it's they heard I said. And so I just wonder, because 'cause we're all on social media, maybe you don't have a channel where you do this, but a lot of y'all are on Facebook or, you know, TikTok or whatever. And I just wondered if that does that happen to you all too, and how do you combat it if it does? So, it goes back to I think that we can claim we care, but I think it's just wishful thinking because I think that for the most of us, if we're honest, unless you are way more involved than me, we do care. And I think that that's actually normal. And like Steve said, it's probably healthy. I think it might even be healthy to care because if we really just didn't care, you know, even the animals care, right? So I don't know. If we just literally didn't care, that might be a little scary. I don't know. So, what I am learning through lots of therapy, y'all, and I'm kind of sharing here is that I don't want to stop caring about what people think. I want to learn to stop letting what people think dictate how I feel about myself. I mean, just because somebody doesn't like me, that doesn't mean that they're right. It doesn't mean, they can think I'm a bad person. That doesn't mean that I am. And so that's what I wanna do. I hope that you all will do that, is that, if somebody doesn't like you or whatever, for whatever reason, and I like Julia, she's been getting a lot of trolls that have been coming over her channel straight from another one and calling her names and all that, and I want her to know, they can call her whatever they want, but that doesn't make them right. And so we need to just stop feeling the need to defend ourselves or to prove ourselves and just be like, "You know what? That says a lot more about them than it does me." It shows where their heart is, and it's not a good place. So, I got a homework assignment for you. I was given this homework assignment and I'm passing it on, y'all, passing it on. So, the next time that somebody It can be anybody, but especially if it's somebody that you know more online or, that you're acquainted with, but you don't necessarily know them well. Because now, when I say that you just know online, I am not negating those relationships. Like, Dusty, I absolutely love Dusty. I've never met him in person, but I love him. I think of him as a friend. My mods, I've not met any of them in person. But if somebody said that they're not my true friends, I would be so pissed. Like I would go to war, y'all. I would go to war for my mods or Dusty, and others. I have several people that I feel that way about, even if I haven't met them. So, but I want you to think about this, okay? So, if someone online or somebody that is not in that circle that really matters to you, if they have a negative opinion about you and they say something negative about you, like for Julia, this was her Julie Chin or whatever her name is. Boy, I'm name dropping, y'all. But the next time these people say something about you, okay, any of you, I want you to ask yourselves three things. I want you to ask yourself, do they know me? Now, I don't mean have they met me. I mean, do they know me? Do they know what I'm about? Do they know, you know, what I like, what I dislike? Do they know, any of the things that I've been through that have put me where I am today? Do they know me? Okay? The second thing is, do they care about me? Do they care? Are they somebody that they're telling you these things, for your own good kind of thing, like you need to be careful of this person because this person is being ugly about you in the background, or you know be careful how much that you tell about your personal life because it can be used against you, or whatever the deal is. Are they speaking to you, and maybe it came out sounding negative, but are they doing it because they literally care? Okay? And then the third one is, and it kind of goes along with the second one, is, do they want what's in the best interest for me? Are they telling me this for my own good? Are they really looking out for me? If I needed them, to stand up for me, would they? That kind of thing. If I, would they hold my hair back while I vomit? That kind of thing, even if it's virtual. But, I want you to ask yourself those three things. And if the answers are no, then their opinion doesn't matter. Don't let them live rent free in your head. And that's how I'm going to try to work. How I care so much when somebody doesn't like me. The fact that, like okay, so if if Dusty or Steve or Marilee or any of y'all in here, if you just started, like, really being unkind and not liking me, just, suddenly just being like, oh, she's this, she's that, she's, whatever. Yeah, it's going to bother me because you do know me and you do care about me and you do look out for what's best for me and in my best interest. And so your opinion matters. But if you don't like me, know me, or look out for my best interests, I'm not going to let your opinion matter. I mean, it might for a minute. We're human. Let's be real. It might for a minute. But in the grand scheme of things, we got to quit letting people that don't matter live free in our heads. Now, what really hurts is when it is somebody that you think matters and they turn on you. That is a whole different situation. And, that's not one we're going to go into today. We might go into it Monday because that's something that goes along a little bit with what I'm gonna talk about Monday. So y'all, I want you to think about it a little bit and like who in your life really knows you, if you could just you can write it, you can type it if you want to, but you don't even have to. Think of 5, 10 people in your life that matter, that know you, that care about you, and that have your best interests at heart. Those are your people. Those are your tribe. That's the people that's gonna keep you fed, whether it's literally or, figuratively. That's the people that's gonna keep you safe. That's the people's gonna keep you alive, figuratively, generally, but still, that's your tribe. That's the people that matter if they like you or don't like you. That's the people that if they suddenly are angry with you, you should be able to sit down and say, "Hey, what the fuck? What is going on? Let's fix this." And if they're not willing to work on it, then that's on them. I mean, that's on them. Now, if you grew up in a situation where you had to earn love or where, love was transactional or, contractual, that kind of thing, or you were in a high control situation, or if you have been hurt and rejected by people that absolutely do, you thought truly did know you, care about you, and have your best interest at heart. It's going to be perfectly normal for that stuff to hit harder, to sting longer, and to kind of, mess you up a little bit. I had a situation like that where I lost a dear friend just a few not they didn't die, but I lost a dear friend just a few months ago that I didn't think would ever not be my best friend for life. And I lost them and it was abrupt and complete and over and done within seconds, and it to this day, several months later, it still hurts, and that's normal. But people like, trolls or just hateful people in general, I'm really learning to let that kind of, be like water on a duck's back, just doesn't matter anymore. So, but what we need to do is, and this is what my little therapist said, is instead of saying, "Do they like me?" we need to say, I wrote it down what she said. Let me make sure. Da, 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 da. Do they like me or why don't they like me? We need to ask ourselves, do I like who I am when I'm being my true self? Not when you're trying to be liked by somebody, not when you're trying to fit in. Do you like who you are when you are your true, authentic self? And if you do, now that don't mean you think you're perfect. No. You know, there's times that I'm just like, "Ugh, I'm getting on my own nerves," you know. But for the most part, do you think you're a good person when you are being your true authentic self? Because if you are, that's what's important. And the right people will find you. And you won't have to worry yourself with these people that don't know you, don't care about you, and don't have your best interest at heart. We just got to find our tribe, y'all. We just got to find our tribe. You really just shouldn't have to change who you are to get people to like you. And I mean, I guess if you're an asshole, then it might be better if you did kind of change who you are, you know? But the rest of us, we just need to, like, just accept who we are and find our tribe. So, you know, we hear this all the time. People will say, "I'm not for everyone." And that the thing is it's true. We aren't for everyone. I'm not for everyone, but guess what? Everyone's not for me. Doesn't mean there's anything wrong with me. Doesn't mean there's anything wrong with them. It means we're not each other's tribe. So instead of like finding fault or making it somebody's fault that we like or don't like somebody else, just let it go. And maybe they will too. Maybe not. Some people just assholes. But y'all, if we're real and we're kind and we're growing, you know, our souls are growing. We're growing in life. I don't mean in size. I mean in life. We're growing to be better people. We're growing to be more understanding. All of that. That's what matters. That's what matters. And it's enough, you know? It's enough. We have to we have to teach ourselves that we are enough for the right people. So, and if we're not enough for some people, then that's not our right people. It's just not. So, I say all the time, I love this little channel because I would rather have how many? There's 17 of you here now. There's more that aren't chatting, and there will be more that come later. But I would rather have if nobody but the 17 people that are in chat ever watched me on these, because I hate watching me, but they never watched my lives. It would be enough for me. Because if those 17 people wanted to be there and genuinely liked me, that's enough. I don't need 17,000 subscribers or whatever. I would rather have 100 subscribers that really support me than a bunch of people that just clicked subscribe and maybe never looked at me again. So I am going to go and check the starred comments. We have a few. I'm going to check those. And then I'm going to go eat. Today is the day that I made a big, huge crock pot of potato soup. And I made it real cheesy. And I even put ham in it, which I don't generally, but I did it one day because I didn't have the bacon that I usually put in it. And my dad liked it better with the ham. So now I do that. Mark doesn't really like ham, but he'll eat it. So he likes it in soup better than he does like a slice of ham. But anyway, I'm hungry, y'all. I've not eaten today and I'm hungry. But I do want to go through these starred comments. So Julia says, we care because we are beautiful human beings. Absolutely. We all have different thoughts and feelings. And yes, sometimes we can be emotional regardless of our differences. Absolutely. Sometimes we do, like we're led by emotions sometimes, and that's male and female, y'all. I know people will act like that women are so emotional, but men are too. They just show it different. And but they care. They care just as much. I mean, I I I mean nobody wants to be around somebody that's just a crybaby all the time, like, that they just break down over, any little thing and they just whoa. But I tell you what, I don't think there is anything sexier in a man than a man that can show emotions, that a man that can cry. Doesn't mean that he needs to be sobbing and, all the time. I don't like anybody to be like that all the time. But I certainly don't see it as a weakness. And I think most women like a man that, stop trying to man up all the time and show me who you really are and what you really care about. I think I think it's sexy and lovely. So my short says, yeah, I do care if people like me. I feel like if I stopped crying, I wouldn't be as nice a person. I'd be more selfish, I suppose. And I think that that's brilliant. I really do. I absolutely agree. Jersey Jan says, I care more around the holidays because it's tough to be alone. Absolutely. I want to have a group of family and or friends to celebrate with. I know, right? I wish so bad that I've said this to my mods that I wish that we lived closer and we could do, like Friendsgiving or Friendsmas or something to where we could literally get together and have Thanksgiving or Hanukkah or Christmas or I don't know, Easter, 4th of July, whatever. I don't care what it is. I love having friends. One time we did Thanksgiving and I invited like a bunch. I mean, seriously, we already were having quite a few. There was already like 25, 35 people at my Thanksgiving dinners. But I probably invited another 20, 25 people that were just friends from the newspaper or whatever. And they were all there. It was people that I didn't know that they didn't have somewhere to go on Thanksgiving. And I dropped the invitation and meant it. But honestly, didn't expect for most of them to accept, was thrilled when they did, but didn't expect it. We had the best time, y'all. It was great. I loved it. And so I love to have friends and family over. So I get this, Jan. I really do. We should what we should do is we should just like set up like a Zoom call or something and just go in and out of the camera. I ordered, I don't know, it's some kind of a gimbal thing that it sits up on a tripod and it will follow me, it'll follow my face around I thought, well, I could do that while I'm fixing, Thanksgiving dinner or whatever. And, we could do that kind of thing. Like we could just share that and just even if you didn't have that, just, hold on, I'll be right back and walk out of frame if you need to or whatever. I think it'd be so fun. I really do. So I think it matters because we're social creatures. Yes, Indigo, absolutely. I care what people think because I try to put my best foot forward. If I don't care about hate channels, they don't care about me. Yeah, I don't care about hate channels and they don't care about me. Absolutely. I'm always thrilled when they don't care about me. When they'll be like, you're so, you don't matter, you're insignificant, you don't have like any clout kind of deal. I'm like, thank you. I'll take it. I will take it. Absolutely. So Ben says the reason why we get deeply hurt when people don't like some of our ideas is that we often wrap our identity into those ideas. We can see it when someone rejects them, that they reject. Yes, we do. I've done that too. Like, I'll have like this brilliant idea for, quote unquote brilliant idea for something. And then if Mark doesn't like it or something, it feels personal. Like it feels like he rejected me. And so I get that. I really do. Absolutely. Whoops. Okay. Annie and me. If I feel that I have accidentally offended someone, then I try and hand out the olive branch. Absolutely. But honestly, and I have told you this before, Susie, that's how people think or that how people think about you is none of your business. Absolutely. I remember that. I do. Yep. Should be like other people's opinion of you is not your business. And that is absolutely wise. Julia says, I do care what people think of me. However, if the haters continue to be mean, I just delete their comments. Some comments can create upset. If they upset us, we don't have to follow them. Absolutely. I'm learning that too. Just delete. I used to like, if people left like crappy comments, trolls, not just these like, random drive-by trolls. I'm talking about like trolls that, they're doing it on purpose. They're doing it to hurt you. I used to feel like that I had to leave their comments up or else they were going to be like, "Oh, she sure deletes anybody that doesn't agree with her." And I wanted to show that I wasn't like that. But then I thought, "The hell with you. This is my channel." That would be like if you came into my house and you said a bunch of shit about me and I'm like, "Oh, we'll have a seat. Just stay. Let me get you some coffee." No. Boom, I'm gonna punch you lights out and you're gone. So, yeah, I delete them now. I delete them. I don't care. So, Indigo says, "I think we seek group approval because of being a tribe, and when we used to hunt and gather, or when a lot of people survived by farming or other community trades, absolutely. Absolutely. That's exactly what I was getting at by this. It really is. I'm so happy that it wasn't just like something that made sense in my brain and it didn't make sense to anybody else. Now, I in no way think that I'm like, woo, you came up with this big theory. No, I didn't come up with it. A lot of my therapist, a lot of other, people that I talked to, a lot of stuff that I read online, a lot of, all that is where I came up with this. I just meant that I wanted to be able to present it in a way that made what I was thinking make sense. So, yeah, Ben says, yes, if you got kicked out of the tribe, you no longer got resources or got to mate. Yeah. And I would be willing to say all of our ancestors lived long enough to reproduce. Absolutely. If they didn't, we would not be here. So I never fully reintegrated. Yeah, I never fully reintegrated since COVID. I know, right? Me too. And at the same time that COVID was going on, I was going through some serious, serious, hard, strong chemo weekly, every Friday. And so not only was it COVID, but I was at my absolute weakest. And so, y'all, I've been doing chemo. I mean, I've been off of it for a year now, but it takes like 3 or 4 months for every month that you're on it to recover. And I was doing some kind of chemo for 3 years, a year and a half solid, but some kind of chemo for 3 years. So it was rough. Yeah. And, yeah, a lot of that I've not reintegrated into the world very much since then. I've lost contact with a lot of people that I used to see all the time, which is sad. So, never in Aaron. I care about being liked by the younger generation because it would be nice if some version of me was still alive, even when I'm not in the room anymore. I read that one earlier, but I wanted to put it back up here because I absolutely agree. Ben says, know that you are safe. Work on that, and you will be more able to deal with it. But rejection will still trigger the same parts of the brain that equal physical pain, but it gets easier to deal. Absolutely. Yeah, it is. It is part of your social needs. That's what Ben says. And Ben is a very wise man. Everyone has them. Everyone has those social needs, y'all. Absolutely. Let's see here. It's like at work. You can do 100 things right, but you know your boss is going to focus on that one mistake you made and hold it over your head. Oh, Jan, that is so true. That is so true. It just is, I've always been like that though. I mean, like I was so hard on myself in school and especially in things like, my English and journalism classes and all of that kind of thing because it was really important to me. And so they could, how they'll go through there with their little red pencil, and they'll like a little shorthand of this, you need to do this and that and this and everything. And I would focus so much on the negative things that they pointed out. There might be one thing that they said, you forgot your apostrophe here. I would let that ate me halfway alive. I did the same thing whenever I first started my journalism career and I worked for another newspaper before we bought our own. And if she said any one little negative thing about an article that I wrote, I would just think that it's trash. I just need to trash it and start over. And she'd be like, you're an idiot. I told you to move that you said this word too many times in a paragraph or something, use a different word than this one or something. I mean, it would be the most simple, just, you just simple things. And oh my God, I would be so just crushed, you know. So let's see here. Indigo says people show their true colors before they verbalize them. I stick around for people who have shown they care and helped me through a hard time. Absolutely. Indigo says, I've also been betrayed by someone I trusted. It hurts. Boy, it does. But I have learned that it is, that I am their loss. That's beautiful, actually, that I am their loss as much as the pain they caused took a while to heal. I am their loss. That's good. Maybe you can relate, Susie. I often find myself thinking, I survived cancer. Do I need to deal with this? If I say no, I stop dealing with it. Yeah. This is silly, but sometimes, this is an internal conversation that I have with myself sometimes. I'll be like, did I go through all that damn chemo to put up with this shit? And I'd be like, no, I did not. And so, then I'm just like, well, then I'm not going to. Or were these people there for me? Would they have been there for me? Even if it's somebody, like online, would this person have been there for me, even if it's virtually, while I was at my darkest? No. Well, if it's no, bye. And that doesn't mean that it's transactional. I don't mean they have to, prove that they care. I don't mean it like that. But I mean, if I'm letting this person's negative energy affect me, do they know me? Do they care about me? And do they have my best interest at heart, to where in my darkest time would they have been there for me? If the answer's no, then they're gone. So Ben says, know that your identity is much more than that. What you label yourself is like writing on the back of a postage stamp. You are more than any beliefs, ideals, or labels you have given yourself. I hate when he's so smart. I truly do. So guys, Mark's back. He's, I'm sure going to want to eat. I know I do. I plan on being here tomorrow at 6:30 Central. So I'm going to go. Thank you so much for being here. I think this was fun. So we're going to have to do some more of these, once or twice a week, where we just talk about something, in a lighthearted kind of way. So if y'all have topics you want to talk about, let me know. I'm always open to topics. So anyway, I will see you guys tomorrow. I love you. Bye.
Hope you enjoyed the show. So glad you were here. We meet here most days. We're but first coffee and you're welcome here. We talk about hard subjects, but we also laugh a lot. If you have a loss or win, we will cheer for you. We're but first coffee and you are safe here. So hit those like and subscribe buttons, notifications set to all. You don't want to miss a show, because this is your home to y'all. So hit those like and subscribe buttons, notifications set to all. You don't want to miss a show, because this is your home to y'all. So hit those like and subscribe buttons, notifications set to